fanfiction, and any related video are made purely for entertainment and imaginative purpose. It doesn't have any connection to either's real life. It's simply a fictional story made for enjoyment. I also just let you know there is a voiceover included. If that makes you uncomfortable, feel free to mute it. Otherwise, enjoy listening.
Jungkook, I got 3 on the left. Breathing hard, boot kicking against the damp forest floor as he spin and knock an enemy down, sweat dirt streak across his face, hyper focused. Cheho, watch your right, Cookie. Voice sharp, dropping his usual chair expression, deadly serious. He blocks, blade aim at his neck. The forest echoed with gunshots, grunts, and the crushed body colliding. Mist from the giant waterfall drift over them, mixing with the metallic scent of blood. Alpha team was surrounded, outnumbered, but never outclassed. Enemies kept pouring from between the trees like shadow coming alive. Then they are multiplying, damn it! Flame tone slipping slightly, eye scanning pattern file, slashing an attacker with precise movements. Doesn't matter, they'll go down just the same. Cold quiet, whipping blood off his blade before looking at another alive. RM, stay in information, don't break the line, commanding tone and calculating escaping routes, scanning the battlefield even as he slam an enemy down. But the formation did break, not by the choice. One of the rival hidden behind a thick tree trunk sprinted towards the Jungkook from behind, using a dagger with murderous intent. Jungkook task, turning too late, eyes widening as he sensed the incoming hit. Before the blade could reach Jungkook's back, a shadow moved faster than the wind. Taehyung, over my dead body. Deep, dangerous voice as he stepped in front of blocking the attack with brutal force, expression unreadable, even a blood drips from his already injured shoulder. Taehyung slash knocked off the balance, his boots skidding on the most covered ground. The enemy swung again, Taehyung encountered, but the ground within him was too slick to close to the cliff edge. Jungkook heart slammed into his throat. Jungkook, Young, watch out! Taehyung reaching out, but too far to grab him. The enemy charged again. Taehyung delivered a fatal blow, but the force pushed him backward. His heel hit nothing but air. The world seemed to freeze. The roar of the waterfall swallowed every sound. Taehyung, silent eyes steady even as his body titled backward, falling towards the crushing water below. And then he vanished over the edge. Jin, Taehyung! Voice cracking with shock, face twisting with disbelief as he takes one step forward before stopping himself in mid-fight. No. Eyes wide and breathing, shaking, monitory frozen with horror. J-Hope, tell me I didn't just see that. Voice trembling, mass of chairs completely gone, lip pressed tight to stop them from shaking. Shit, the cold composer slipped. Java Clan's grip tight on his weapon as he forced himself to stay grounded. Jungkook felt his entire chest collapse. Young, he was already bleeding, voice breaking hard, head stumbling as he stared at the cliff where things disappeared. But the enemies didn't stop. They kept coming, more of them. Focus, voice sharp, commanding, masking the fear he refused to show. Finish the fight now, that's an order. Jin understood, swelling hard, forcing himself back into the mental stains, thought his handshake. Sugar, we'll get him later, he isn't dying like that. It's cold voice, but eyes carrying something dangerous, close to fear. J-Hope, Taehyung is a monster, waterfall wouldn't kill him, trying to sound confident, but the terror in his word betrays him. The team snapped back into the combat, no choice, no time to grieve. Their blow becomes sharper, faster, fueled by fury and desperation. Every one of them fought with thought burning behind their eyes. Taehyung must survive, he has to. The morning sun flittered softly through the dense forest trees as Vayan and her mother step out in their small house. Vayan's mother, Vayan, come with me, we need to fetch water from river. Vayan, Jima, softly voiced, nodding quickly as she slipped on her sandals, joined her mother. The path to the river was familiar, tall tree bending over the village was far behind them, but the whisper of judgment from the village always lingered in Mayan's heart. Still, her mother walked proudly like a woman who refused to bend to anyone's petty. They reached the wide river, the sound of gushing waterfall not too far away. Both set their clay pot down to fill them with the fresh cold water. As Vine bent to feel hers, her mother frozen, her hand trembled. Vine's mother, Vine, cracking with sudden panic, pointing towards the muddy bank. There is someone there. Vine jigged up, nearly dropping the pot. Her eyes followed the direction and her breath locked in her chest. Body completely covered in mud, laying near the river edge, barely visible. Vine, her small voice looking at her mother with fear, silently asking what they should do. But her mother doesn't hesitate. Vine's mother, stay close, determined. And down whipping some mud off the stranger's waist carefully, cautiously, she pressed her finger against the pulse point. Second, then felt like hour. Then Vine's mother, he's alive, relieved but tense, looking at Vine. We need to treat him right now, Vine. Jima. Vine's mother slid her arm under the shoulder, trying to lift him. Vine, but Ma, if someone find out that a man, voice shaking, whispered her fear of people, of judgment of the villager rumors. Vine's mother, Vine, strong, urgent, Iris. This is not the time to think about villagers. We need to save him. Whatever will happen later, we will handle it. Now help me. For a moment, Vine only stared at her mother's courage, at the stranger's lifeless body, and the weight of the choice before them. She nodded. Vine, I'm with you, Ma. Other they lifted him, one arm over Vine's shoulder, the other over her mother's, staggering slightly under his heavy weight. His body was cold, ridged, and brushed. They walked back home, felt longer than usual, each step heavier than the last. Once inside, they gently laid him on Vine's bed. Mud shrimmed the sheet, but neither cared. Vine's mother, Vine, bring warm water and a clean cloth quickly. Fine, I'll be right back. Moments later, she returned, clenching a bowl of warm water and cotton cloth. Her mother dipped the cloth, then began wiping the mud off Stranger's face, bit by stroke. His feature appeared, sharp jawline, thick dark eyelashes resting on his burnished skin. Her eyes widened, her heart thumped violently in her chest. Wine, ma, he's not just handsome, deadly handsome, even injured, even unconscious, he looked unreal. She blinked slowly, unable to tear her gaze away. Who was this man? Why he was near the river? Why he was covered in mud and woods? Then why did her heart feel like it warning her, pulling her closer at the same time? Wine's mother continued cleaning his wounds with steady hands. Wine stood beside her, holding a cloth, her breath uneven. She watched more of his face become visible. That's when something caught her eyes, a bandage on his torn uniform. Her gaze shifted slowly. Captain Kim Taehyung, Al-Fatih. Eyes drifted back to his face, sharp features brushed but sticking, even unconscious. There was something powerful, almost intimidating about him. Wine's mother. Wine helped me change his clothes. Wine's heart slipped painfully in her chest. She had never touched a man before, not like this close, not someone this breathtaking. Her finger trembled slightly. Jima. Wine, please don't let me hurt him. Her mother noticed the hesitation but didn't comment. Together they carefully peeled off the uniform top. The moment his upper body was exposed, Wine instinctively looked away, cheeks burning, then slowly looked back. His body was strong, strained, but bruises everywhere, cuts, stretches, purple marks from the fallen. She swallowed hard. Hold him steadily, Wine. And obey her plump, touching his bare shoulder, upper arm. Taehyung's skin was warm, too warm, like her touch mattered, even thought he was unconscious. Every second felt too long. They wrapped his arm, treated the deeper cuts, and gently turned him to turn his back. Vine spotted his weight, her breath shaky as she felt the muscle within her hand, more bruises, more evident of a brutal fall. Her mother sighed, shaking her head softly. Vine's mother, this man has fought badly with nature. After a long, careful process, they finally covered his wounds, dressed him in a clean cloth, adjusted the blanket over him. Vine, ma, when he will wake up? Her mother stepped closer to the window, watching the dipping sun. Vine's mother, we treated his wounds, and none of seemed life-threatening. He should regain consciousness in 1 or 2 days. And let out breathe. She didn't realize she was holding. Fine, I hope he wakes soon. She closed her eyes, gently whispering a small prayer for his safety, for his pain to ease, and for the stranger named Kim Taehyung to alive. Next morning, Vine's mother stirred a pot in the little kitchen. Vine's mother, Vine, go check his wounds and change his arm bandage. Vine, Jima. She paused at the doorway. Every time she saw him, even unconscious, something inside her chest tightened. A strange yet nothing about him felt ordinary. Taking a deep breath, she stepped in and sat beside him on the bed. The moment the bed dipped under her weight, her pulses quickened. She placed the new bandages near the pillow, reached to lift his t-shirt. Her finger hovered before she finally touched him, warm, solid, and unfamiliar. She gulped softly. Slowly, she unwrapped the old bandage. His skin was brushed but healing. She cleansed the wound gently, tracing the edge of the cut with feather-light care. When she finished, she let out a small sign of relief. Her eyes drifted upward. His face looked calmer today, his eyelashes resting softly on his cheeks, his hair fallen across his forehead. She hesitated, then smiled, without realizing. Hand lifted slowly, almost shy, towards his hair, wanted to brush it away when suddenly a strong hand shot up, grabbed her wrist. Her world stopped. His eyes opened, dark, sharp, intense, locking onto her instantly. The air between them tightened. Vine's breath hitched, her heart thundered violently in her chest. He didn't speak, didn't blink, just stared straight into her eyes with the same cold authority of a soldier who trusted no one, and yet something in his gaze wasn't angry, it was confusion, worriness, and a strange, unpredictable pull. Vine tried to pull her hand back, but his grip only tightened slightly. Her breath quickened to shake nervous gasps. Taehyung, who are you? Vine slipped apart in fear and shock. Vine, ma, footstep rushed towards the door. Only then Taehyung did release her wrist, as if his mind needed a second to process danger from safety. Vine's mother entered quickly, breathless. Taehyung closer, flickers to her, but returned to Vine as if he needed to confirm something. Vine's mother, you are safe, son. This is my home. You were unconscious near the river. We brought you here and treated your wounds. Young's expression didn't soften immediately. He scanned the room, analyzing accessing it like a trained soldier. Finally, his body relaxed just slightly, his eyes dropping to his injured arm, then back to two women. He noted one stiff, controlled Taehyung. Brief, silent acknowledgement, Java tight as pain throbs along his back. He pushed himself up, wincing. Vine's mother, son, don't push yourself. First rest, then talk, then go home. Froze. Her voice, gentle, patient, protective, hit him in a way that caught him off guard. His own mother, he didn't hear that tone in years. His eyes softened, briefly noticeable, but Vine caught it, her breath stilled. Taehyung looked at her again, this time slower, deeper, as if trying to understand the girl whose waist he had nearly crushed, whose touch had awoken him. He finally spoke. Taehyung, thank you for saving me. Anne's mother smiled warmly, placing her hand gently on the end of the bed. Son, saving a life is blessing. What we did today will return to us someday. He looked down, observing her words. Something inside him loosed. Something he didn't know was cleansed.
In the afternoon, Vine's mother freshly prepared a plate of food for Taehyung. Her mother placed the plate carefully in Vine's hand. Vine's mother, Vine, take this inside and give it to Taehyung. He must not have eaten anything since morning. Vine's shoulders shifted as she had been handed a bomb instead of a food plate. Her eyes grew wide and her voice dropped into a flustered whisper. Vine, Ma, why don't you go and give it? He looked at me like I committed some crime or something, like I'm a terrorist who invaded his space. Vine's mother paused for barely a second before a small assumed laugh escaped her lips. She shook her head while looking at Vine. Vine's mother, my silly girl. Soldiers are trained to be alert every second of their life. He doesn't know who we are, where he is, or what happened to him. It's not he doesn't trust it's the world. I have to go into the other village to deliver this pot before evening. Now be brave and go give him the food. The poor man must be starving. Her mother's expression made sense, but it little claimed the rapid beating in Vine's chest. Still, she noted swelling her worry. She tightened her grip on the plate. Vine, okay, Ma, I'll take it. With one breath, she walked towards the bedroom door. Every step felt like it echoed too loudly in her ear. Her mind replaying the moment when Taehyung's hand grabbed her wrist and the way his eye had locked into her like he could see everything, she thought. She pushed the door gently. The moment the small creak broke, the quiet Taehyung's eyes snapped open, not slowly, not lazily, but sharply as if pulled from the depth of unconsciousness by pure instinct. His eyes darkened immediately. He locked into her alert and precisely. Vine stood just inside the doorway, her finger gripping the edge of the plate as it were the only thing keeping her up straight. She forced a small smile even though her heart felt too big for her chest. Vine, thanks you bought food for you. Something shifted in Taehyung's eyes when she spoke his name. It was subtle, barely a flicker, but enough to steal the air from her lungs. For a moment, his gaze depended, scanning her face slowly, almost as if the sound of his name from her lips had landed somewhere inside he didn't want to acknowledge. Saw her trembling figure holding the plate. He saw the way she stood with careful distance, unaware whether to step closer or step back. He saw every untouched innocence she carried so naturally. Then, as if needing space from sudden tension forming between them, he blinked once, looked away. Yeah, can I get some water? His voice came out low, rough, but each word scraping through his dry throat. The tone grounded but not as cold as before. Vine's heart jumped at being directly addressed. Fine, G, I'll bring right now. She hurried out the room, feeling her cheeks warm. She scolded herself under the breath for forgetting to place the water jug in the room last night. In the kitchen, she grabbed the jug glass with speed she didn't know she possessed, filling it with cold water rushing back. Entering in the room, she felt his eyes on her, quite observant, unreadable. He poured the water carefully into the glass, extended towards him with both hands. Vine, here, please have some water. Turned gentle, sincere, offering him the glass of with steady hands, even thought her heart fluttered uncontrollably. He reached for the glass. In the small moment, his finger brushed against her. The touch was brief accident but powerful enough to send a startled warmth through the Vine's arm, and Taehyung, he shut his eyes for a split second, a faint intake breath of betraying him just how aware he suddenly became of the closeness. Gathering courage, she barely possessed Vine, moved to sit gently beside him on the bed. The proximity made Taehyung broke it together slightly, not displeasure but in sudden awareness. Closeness unsettled him not because she was a stranger, not because he didn't know why her presence felt disalarming. She scooped a spoonful of food brought near him, her expression soft and hopeful. Please eat something, it will help you regain strength. Her tone innocent and caring, her eyes full of genuine care, and she held the spoon in front of him. Taehyung frozen again. Her gentle scent reached him first, then the warmth of her shoulder near his, then the sincerity in her eyes, untouched by detect, untouched by harshness, world he lived in. It was too much. He straightened slowly, trying to pull a small barrier of space between them. His gaze darkened with a mix of discomfort and something he couldn't explain. Taehyung, I can eat by myself. His voice claimed but firm, trying to regain control over his emotion and creating some distance between them. Vine blinked then nodded, quickly withdrawing the spoon. She placed the plate within his reach, offering a small, reassuring smile before standing up. She walked towards the door, but something inside her stopped her before she turned out entirely. She turned her head slightly. Vine, if you need anything, just call me. Her tone gentle, almost shy, as she slowly lifted her eyes to see him. My name is Vine. For a moment, Taehyung didn't respond. He simply watched her soft posture, her hesitation expression, her kindness untouched and ungrounded. Then he gave small nod. Taehyung, a silent acknowledgement with hint of something softer brewed deep within the cold exterior. Vine slipped out of the room, closing the door with quiet care. 2 days passed. Quietly thought Vine felt anything but claim. She taught the children in the small village school with her best friend Honey. Besides her, the two girls guiding little ones through reading number. And today, Vine's mind struggled to stay focused, her eyes drifting towards the door as thought, imagining Taehyung walking, speaking, needing something.
Honey, who know wine better than anyone, didn't miss that distracted look during their break as they sat under the old banyan tree. Behind the school, Honey leaned closer with a cheeky glint in her eyes. Honey, wine, tell me again everything from the beginning. And sign chicks turning pink from the memory. Wine, I already told you we found him near the river. He was hurting badly, man, and I brought him home. Honey's eyes widened instantly, glittering with excitement. Honey, a stranger who's a soldier staying in your home. And tell me straight, is he handsome? Wine's face flushed bright red. Honey, he's he's very handsome. Honey frozen for 1 second, then gasped dramatically. Very handsome, like a hero movie handsome, or like a my heart is malfunctioning handsome. Wine swallowed her voice barely above a whisper. The second one. Honey smacked her hand on her thighs in excitement. Then what's the problem? You got yourself a man. Wine's smile dropped immediately. Her eyes furrowed and she gave Honey a strained glare. And are you insane? I didn't even know him. I don't know where he came from, what kind of life he lives, whether he loves someone or whether someone is waiting for him or somewhere. He blinked dramatically before nodding slowly as he's processing Wine's panic. True. What if he married? Frozen, her hand tightened around the dupatta. A strange heaviness settled in her chest, something she couldn't fully understand. Wine, yes, what if he's. He saw Wine's expression dim and quickly switched the grease, not wanting her best friend to spiral into unnecessary thought. Honey, okay, new topic. Listen, do you know a new doctor came to our village yesterday? Wine blinked, thrown by a sudden change. Wine, no, I didn't hear anything. Honey grins widened. He's giving free checkup for women, and all the ladies who went said he's amazing at his job and also extremely handsome. Shook her head with disbelief, her lips twisting into a small laugh. Wine, you just need an excuse to find handsome men whomever we go. Poetical? Gasped dramatically, placing her hand over her heart. Honey, Ari, don't say like that. We gonna get free checkups, and also your mother needs this. Her asthma has gotten worse these days. This is a good chance. Wine stopped. Her playful smile faded into corner. You're right. Ma never agrees to visit doctor because of fee. But if we tell her it's free, she'll come with us. Honey clapped her hands, delighted. Honey, see, look, problem solved. Auntie's health and me getting to see the handsome doctor. Wine shook her head with laughter. Her heart feel lighter now. After school ended, the children shuttered away. Vines gathered her book and walked towards the narrow path that led home. Honey had gone to buy vegetables, promised to meet her later. Turned in the corner, shadow shop stop in front of blocking the path. Roy, the son of the most powerful man in the village. Spoiled, arrogant, a man who never heard no. Despite Vine saying it 100 times, he leaned against a tree, arms crossed, blocking her way with clear intention. How long will you keep ignoring me, man? I really love you, darling. Anne's stomach twisted in disgust. She turned her head away instantly, refusing to even look at him as her expression soured. Before Roy could open his mouth again, another voice cut in sharply. He emerged towards them like a storm, her eyes drawn dangerously close. Move aside, Roy. She told you no 100 times. Learn to respect women instead of acting like an abandoned puppy. Roy jaw clenched, irritation flickering across his face, but he didn't dare to argue with Honey's sharp mouth. He clicked his tongue, muttered under his breath, and walked away, angrily kicking a stone. He turned to Vine, placing hand on her shoulder. Are you okay? Vine nodded with relief. Thank you. In the evening, Vine stood beside her mother, chopping vegetable for dinner inside the bedroom, then exhaled slowly as he pushed himself upright, his rib to rest, his arm throbbed faintly, and his back reminded him of every injury he sustained. His mind was resolute. He needed information, he needed contact, he needed control again. 2 days lying down, it felt stand to stand, but he did. He stepped out of the room, each moment silent, calculated, a soldier instinct. He scanned the surrounding, his eyes adjusted to the warm light of the house. Paused at the door, watching the ordinary, peaceful domestic scene. It was unfamiliar, oddly grounding. Vine turned around suddenly, and she startled. Widened, her breath caught. She nearly dropped the ball in her hand. She didn't expect him. He's standing so silently behind her. And do you need something? Her tone polite but nervous. Her finger tightened around the bowl as she looked at him with startled eyes. And do you have a phone, mobile, anything I can call? Voice claimed steady, straight to the point, eyes scanning the room as it still analyzing potential exists. And not quickly trying to gather herself. Yes, we have a phone. It's over there. She pointed towards the small wooden shelf, whereas old phone line. Her voice soft and little breathless. Then Glaze followed her direction. Thanks, mother. You can make a call, son. Warm, inviting tone, whipping her hand on her apron as she gave him a comforting sigh. It's all, but it works just fine. Turned to her expression, softening only slight out of respect, enough to call someone. A monotone voice, but polite as he gave a small nod. Taehyung stepped towards the phone. He could feel eye on him, especially her eyes. One couldn't help it. The way he moved, slow, retained, but powerful, drew her gaze without permission. She watched everything, how he breathed through pain, how his shoulder remained strong, how he held himself like he was always prepared to fight. He sensed it. He turned his head slightly, Glaze meeting her. Jointed, swelling hard, she has been caught stealing. She looked away instantly, cheeks burning. And, Ma, I'm going to get vegetables, I'll be back. Watch her leaving, his eyes narrowing briefly, more curious than annoyed. Then he picked up the call, dialed the number he had memorized with precision of soldier. It rang once, twice, then RM speaking, claim control tone, professional. Young, it's me, Taehyung. Him off immediately, voice framed but strained. There was a sharp pause. My voice changed, entirely shaken, relieved, urgent. Taehyung, are you alright? Where are you? And whose number is this? Rapid, tight voice, his face card cracking as worry slipped through. Exhaled deeply. I'm safe, injured but safe. I fell near the river during the fight. Two women found me, a mother and a daughter. They brought me to their home. Voice tone studying, giving only the fact but leaving out the subterfuges inside him by van. Immediately switched the call to speaker and the entire Alpha unit's voice erupted at once. Oh, Young, thank God, we thought, relief tone, voice cracking with emotion. Thank God for those two women. When two women, curious play tone creeping in. Are they sisters? Java tightened slightly. No, one is the mother, the other is her daughter. Her name is Vian. Even voice, but the name Vian come out slower, as if mind lingering on it. Women, oh, younger, teasing slay tone, he already know where to spoke. Taeyong sniffed it. Yes, short chipped answer, his voice lowering further. Jungkook, around my? Urged curious tone, already imagining scenarios. Young, no early 20s claim, but film thought of something underneath betray a flicker of attention. Jimin let out a dramatic sign. Jimin, is she beautiful? Noisy singing song tone, clearly teasing him now. Eon didn't speak. His mind, without permission, pulled up the image of Vian's face the moment she had started seeing him. Her widened eyes, her pink cheeks, her soft voice, her innocent stare when she thought he wasn't looking. He felt something unfamiliar twisted in his chest. Silence stitch. He didn't deny it, he didn't confirm it, but the silence had said everything. Finally, the low, involuntary hum, skipping him before he could block it. Jimin and Jungkook explode. Jungkook, Young, you like someone for the first time ever. Jimin, the great Kim Taeyong, the coldest shoulder alive, met by a girl. Jungkook's expression hardened instantly, eyes narrowing. Taeyong, stop talking nonsense. Cold, sharp tone that shut down the teasing. Tell me the end situation, your end. Jin, Taeyong, everything is stable for now, but we still haven't found the head of the rival group. It might take time. Voice lowered with determination. Taeyong, don't worry, I'm coming back. Control, ready to turn to duty despite the pain. Iron's don't step from relief to firm command instantly. No, Taeyong, stay where you are. Authority tone that even Taeyong couldn't ignore. They think we are weak because they assume we lost you. They'll make mistake. I already have a plan to trap them. Right now you are badly injured. If you come back, we risk your life, and that is something I didn't allow. There are more missions you are needed in the long run. Exhale slowly. RM was right, and Taeyong respect him enough to listen. Taeyong, okay, as you say, quiet acceptation, but still frustrated internally. RM, recover first. Okay, then come back. Leaving no room for argument. This is my command. Closed his eyes briefly, acknowledging the order. Then, yes, young, obedient tone, accepting the command wholeheartedly. Heaven, the member said their goodbye, worry still heavy in their voice till the end of the call. Ma, please, let's go to the doctor today. It's free checkup day. Gentle but stubborn tone, her hands resting on her mother's shoulder as she trying to make her mother understand. Aunt's mother, no, but I'm absolutely fine. This medicine I take are enough for me. Took a deep breath, frustrated and love mixing in her voice. Ma, you're not fine. You have been coughing more at night. Please, please, for my sake. Her mother looked at her, really looked, and finally signed and surrendered. Okay, fine. If it makes you relax, I'll go. While in other room, Taeyong was in deep thoughts. He can hear their murmuring. The movement was interrupted by Mayan's mother entering. Mayan's mother, son, we are going out for a while. We'll be back in about an hour. If you want something, just take it. Kind motherly tone as she stands near the doorway, watching him with gentle smile. Taeyong pushed himself up, his posture straight despite the great pain. He gave a small respect no, no. Gee, I'll manage. He smiled and left, closing the door slightly behind. Honey stood near the clinic entrance, waving both hands the moment she spotted them. Honey, Vian, Auntie, I've been waiting for you. Vian rolled her eyes affectionately as Honey leaned in close while whispering. Honey, and oh my god, Vian, he's so handsome. I'm telling you, he's straight out from a medical drama. Vian elbowed her slightly. Vian, behave yourself. Ma is here. If you don't want to, then stand straight and quiet. Honey instantly straightened her posture like a scolded child. Honey, okay. At the clinic, a young doctor with neatly combed hair and his glasses sat on a small wooden desk, checking a young boy's heartbeat. His name tag read Dear Joy. He lifted his gaze when the three women entered and smiled, warm, polite, gentle. Dear Joy, please come in. Who is the first? Kind professional tone as he gestured for them to sit. His mother went first. Dear Joy checked her pulse, breathing, and oxygen level. His smile fed into him. Dear Joy, Auntie, your asthma is quite serious. You need regular treatment and proper inhalation medicine. I'll prescribe you something, but please don't ignore your health. Vian's heart clenched, her eyes dropping in worry. Vian, I told you, Ma. Dear Joy then checked Honey, who smiling at him like she was auditioning for a marriage proposal. He politely smiled back, but his attention drifted back to Vian each time. Finally, it was Vian's turn. She sat quietly, hands resting on her lap. Dear Joy checked her pulses, his finger gently on her wrist, eyes softer than before. Something about the way he looked at her lingered, gentle, appreciative, almost admiring.
Dear Joy, you are healthy wine. Just take care during winter. Soft claim tone his glazed ring on her face longer than necessary. Why not absent-mindedly still thinking about her mother? Honey noticed exactly where the doctor's eyes were and she'll almost jump in protest. She leaned in slightly smiling wide. Honey, doctor, your clinic is very nice, very clean. You work alone, trying her too hard tone, hair flipping. Dear Joy barely looked at her. His attention remained fixed on Wine, her claim eyes, her soft feature, and the gentle way she helped her mother sit. Vine didn't notice at all. Her mind was preoccupied with her mother's health. Vine's mother laughed good naturally, waving off the doctor's serious tone. Vine's mother, "Arey young doctor, don't scare my daughter too much, otherwise she'll turn into a nurse for 24 hours a day," teaching light-hearted tone as she pat Vine's shoulder. They all shared a small laugh. Dear Joy handed over the prescription and spoke sincerely. "Dear Joy, Auntie, you have a wonderful daughter. She cares a lot." Tom Toys' eyes softening as he looked at Vine. Vine smiled back politely, missing the deeper meaning of the stare. As Vine and her brother Honey stepped out of the small clinic, the warm afternoon wind brushed past them. The village street was busy, women buying vegetables, old men gossiping under the shade, children running barefoot past the stairs. It said the usual noise, there was a different sound, fear. Two women stand near the wall, whispering urgently, their faces pale, hands clenching tightly around their dupattas. Woman 1, did you hear another attack last night? Shaky, fearful voice as she leaned closer to her friend. Woman 2, they say the killer is still roaming, a real psycho, worried tone glancing around as if expecting someone to jump out. Vine's mother slowed down, her eyes skittering together with confusion. Vine's mother, what are they talking about? Concert on her head, glancing around the bag of medicine. Annie exchanged a quick glance with Vine, then turned back to Vine's mother with a serious face. Auntie, I also heard the same thing. There's a man who's been killing village, especially women. They say he's a psychopath roaming around at night. A cold shiver runs down Vine's spine, her finger tightened around her scarf as fear crawled under her skin. Vine, a psychopath? Soft, trembling tone, her eyes widened, feet slowing to stop. I know her playful personality dissolving into quiet seriousness. Honey, no one knows who is he or why he's doing this, but people are saying he hunts like a wild animal, especially after sunset. Vine's mother inhaled sharply, fear visible in her eyes. Vine's mother, why would anyone kill innocent people? What kind of monster does that? Honey, Auntie, even I don't know, but I heard from the villagers that he never shows himself in daylight. He waits for evening and then he goes hunting. Hugged herself unconsciously. The thought of a faceless killer lurking in the forest sending a wave of chills down her back. Her breath turned uneven. Honey immediately stepped closer, her expression softening. Honey, Vine, listen, don't go out in the evening, okay? I know you walk alone sometime, but now you need to be careful. I'll worry for you a lot. Before Vine could speak, her mother reacted, finally protective instinct burning in her voice. Vine's mother, no. Firm commanding tone gripping Vine's hand tightly. No one will touch my daughter. I will never allow that. She's safe with me always. I'm safe because I live in the next village, but you both please be aware, take care of yourself, don't open the door for anyone after evening. I look at Honey, her heart tightening. Vine, don't worry, I will take care, and you too, stay safe. Honey exhaled, wrapped her arm around Vine in a tight hug. Honey, always. Message me when you reach home. Vine, I will. Honey then hugged Vine's mother as well before waving goodbye and heading towards their path that lead to her own village. Vine's mother, Vine, from now on you will not step outside in the evening. There is a danger out there. Promise me you wouldn't go anywhere once the sun sets. Vine lowered her head slightly, her eyes softening. She could feel the fear behind her mother's voice. It was heavy and real. And Ma, don't worry. I'll stay close to home. I wouldn't make you worry. Her mother held her tightly, breathing in relief. After a moment, she pulled back and handed Vine a neatly pair of men's clothes. Mother, go change Taehyung's bandages and give him this to wear. These are your father's clothes. They should fit him. Vine nodded with a smile, her finger brushing the fiber slightly. Vine, okay, Ma. The door was slightly open. His figure lay on the bed, still claim eyes closed. He looked peaceful, almost deceptively so, and thought he had fallen asleep. So she tipped up inside her, moment as light as feather. She set the folded cloth aside and stepped closer to him. He remained motionless. Slowly she leaned forward and reached for the top button of his shirt. Her finger brushed the fabric, then touched the warmth of his shirt, and in an instant a strong hand shot up and wrapped around her waist. His eyes snapped open, dark, sharp, awake. And gasped loudly, her body freezing in surprise as her finger tightened instinctively around her delicate waist. Taehyung, what are you doing? Deep, cold, strict tone eyebrows raised as he stared directly into her eyes. Vine's breath got stuck in her throat. She immediately put her hand back, cheeks flaming red, eyes diverting away. Vine, I just came to change your bandage, and these are fresh clothes for you. Taehyung, I want to take a bath first. Flat, straightforward tone as if stating a simple fact. Vine blinked startled, her voice came out as a bad whisper. Vine, but your wounds will get wet. He heard her soft concern. Something in his chest tightened unexpectedly. Taehyung, I have been injured many times. Claim yet dismissive tone. It's not a big deal, and I stick right now. Vine's very soft and intellectual and understanding. Vine, okay, let me ask, ma. She explained everything to her mother. Her mother signed and handed her a basket. Vine's mother warmed this water for him, practical tone already lighting the stove. Vine away filling the tub, heating it until steam rose gently after bringing it to Taehyung's room. She said cautiously, and Taehyung can take a bath now. Come with me. Soft on eyes lowered. Taehyung stood up slowly, following her towards the bathroom. His step was steady control, thought the pain pulled at every muscle. He entered first, and his brows furrowed sharply when Vine walked in after him, holding the bucket. He turned towards her, eyes raised, young, silent but sharp look, clearly questioning her presence. Things burned instantly. She looked away, shuddering. I'm just helping you to take off your shirt. Your arm is injured. A shuddering tone as she stared at the floor. Young glanced at his bandaged arm and understood the logic, but he pressed a spark in his eyes. No need, I can do it by myself, called dismissive voice, so looking away. Vine closed her eyes, muttering under her breath. Rude, I'm just helping and he's showing tantrums. Taehyung heard it. His jaw tightened. He looked away, annoyed, not at her, but like she was right. Vine forced a tiny smile, polite but strained. Vine, as you wish, Taehyung. Formal toes stepping back towards the door. She turned to leave, but suddenly a sharp groan echoed behind her. She swam around. Taehyung was gripping his shoulder, his body bent slightly, his face twisted in pain as he tried to lift his injured arm. Blood spurted through the freshly torn bandage. Vine's heart lurched. She rushed to him without thinking. Vine, see, I told you I would help, but you decided to rip it open again. Young stared at her, not with anger, not with annoyance, but with the strange hollow ache, the worry in her eyes, the genuine panic. It stuck somewhere deep, somewhere untouched for years. Her voice softened but remained firm. Vine, sit here. Gentle but authoritative tone, pointing to the wooden stool beside him. Taehyung obeys quietly. She kept beside him, finger trembling slightly as he unwrapped the soaked bandage. Her hand brushed his warm, fleeting touch that sent a slow, unfamiliar heat under his skin. Her lips pressed together, intense concentration as she cleaned the reopened wood, blowing softly on the element so it wouldn't sting him. Her fingertips brushed the strong line of his arm again. Taehyung inhaled, sharp and quiet. He didn't understand why something so small felt so intense. Tim clenched the air of the small bathroom and had just finished securing things fresh breath. She tried to keep her breath steady, standing this close to him always shook her heart in a way she couldn't explain. His presence was too intense, too close, too powerful. She bit her lower lip, stepping backwards, her eyes lowered. Vine, I will go now. Soft, uneven voice, her hand fiddling, nervous with the dupatta, ready to escape the overwhelming tension. Then her foot slipped on the damp tile, her body pitched backward, a sharp gasp escaped her lips. And before she could hit the ground, Taehyung's arms were around her, one strong hand held tightly at her waist, stopping her fall. Her fingers instantly clenched his shoulder for support, and her other palm landed flat on his bare chest, directly over his heart. His shirt between them, his heartbeat thumb filing against her hand, her own heart raced as if trying to match his pace. She looked up slowly, terrified to see what she had found. His dark eyes were already locked on her, time frozen, breath tangled, body too close, silence too loud. Her lips parted slightly, breath warm against his neck, his grip tightened a reflex. Didn't try to stop, his eyes scanned her face, every line, every blink. His voice was gone, his mind blank, not a soldier, just a man caught something off guard by her. Admiration slipped into his eyes, uninvited but unstoppable. She felt it, she felt everything. A slow shiver ran down to her back, and Taehyung felt it under his hand. His heart hammered harder. This closeness was dangerous. This call was dangerous just then. Vine's mother. Vine, where are you? Calling loudly from the kitchen, breaking the moment like a burst of cold air. Reality slammed back. Taehyung released her gently, too gently for someone so cold. Vine stable to her feet, face burning, and coming ma was just shaken, avoiding Taehyung's intense gaze as she hurried out of the bathroom. Silence returned, but his heartbeat refused to claim. He stared at the closed door. She disappeared behind her, warmth still clenched to his palm, her scent still lingering near his chest. Had driven a slow, shaky breath foreign to him. His voice emerged in a low whisper, revealing a war he wasn't prepared for. I have to keep the distance. Deep conflicted on cleansing his jaw as he tries to regain control over the changes she caused. The next 2 days passed unusually quiet inside the small home, too quiet. Taehyung was recovering quickly, faster than any normal man should, but something else had changed in him. The closeness in the bathroom, the heartbeat movement they shared, it haunted him. So he did the only thing a disciplined soldier knew how to do. He distanced himself. Whenever Vine entered the room, he turned away. Whether she reached out to touch his bandage or help him to sit, he stepped back before her finger even lifted. He didn't look at her anymore, not even accidentally. Vine tried to ignore the pinch inside her chest, but each rejection made it worse. Earlier than after, she walked towards him with a fresh bandage in her hand. Her voice soft, unsure. Vine, I came to change your bandage. Before she could reach his arm, he pulled back slightly, looked towards her mother instead. Auntie, please, if you don't mind. Vine's mother nodded, unaware of the tension. Vine frozen, her head stopped mid-air, her heart dropped. She stepped back quietly, voice lodged deep in her throat. After that moment, Taehyung didn't lift his eyes to her even once. At the dinner, placed a plate in front of him carefully, gently hoping maybe he would look up. But he kept his gaze fixed on the table like she wasn't even there. Every small dismissal left an invisible brush on her heart. She didn't understand what changed, what did she do wrong. Her mind kept replaying that moment in the bathroom, their closeness, his heartbeat. Maybe she made him uncomfortable. Maybe he hated that she touched him. In the evening, Vine quietly thought about things. She knew something changed in between after the bathroom incident. Her eyes flickered, thinking, what if really he has someone in his life? Vine, I shall not bother him. Maybe have someone, or he hate my touch. Step out into the forest behind the house, letting the cool wind brush against his face. He stood still, staring at the endless line of trees ahead. Tomorrow morning, he would return to his unit, back to the danger, back to orders, back to the world wherein emotion are weakness. I have to go back. I need to break the chain of feelings. I am a soldier. I should remember that before it's too late. During dinner, the three sat quietly around the table. The warm food smelled comforting, but silence made everything feel tense. Anne kept her focus on her plate, afraid that might look what would make her pain visible. Anne's mother tried to lighten up the atmosphere and looked towards the young with genuine curiosity. Anne's mother, Taehyung beta, are you married or there's someone special waiting for you back home? Taehyung paused before answering. His finger tightened slightly around his spoon. He lifted his gaze forward, but his gaze unintentionally moved towards Ryan. Taehyung, no auntie, there is no place for love or women in my life. He looked at the food again, forcing himself not to look up. Taehyung, my only purpose is to serve the country. That is all I focus on. Ryan's hand frozen in the air. For a moment, she lowered her head quickly, so no one could see her flickering across her face. Swallowed, even thought her throat felt tight. Noticed the tiny change, just a brief drop of her eyes, just a faint tremble in her fingers, and his heart reacted. Taehyung, this is why I must leave. She doesn't deserve to be hurt because of me. I couldn't let any attachment grow. Taehyung stepped outside his room early in the morning. He had already changed into his uniform, every button perfectly aligned, his boot firmly tied. His face looked calm, collected, the way a soldier should be when leaving a place. His heart did not feel lame. My team will reach soon. I have to walk to the end of the village and leave everything behind. This is my duty, no attachment, no weakness. He clenched his jaw, picked up his bag, stepping out into the country yard. Sunwine stayed in her room, sitting at the edge of her bed, her eyes burned slightly, holding back tears she refused to let fall. She knew soldier belongs to war, not to peaceful house. She knew he would never look at her the way she looked at him. Knowing the truth didn't make the pain any easier. Thought about the past day, small moment that changed her heart without permission. How he fixed the water pipe, chopped wood, and so easily carried heavy buckets like they weighed nothing. She remembered how wide her mouth had fallen open when she saw his muscle flex fly lifting the dry tree branches. She had been embarrassed but impressed. She remembered how he had silently passed money to her mother, a lot of money, and when her mother refused, he spoke words that touched something deep inside both of them. Auntie, please accept it. You treated me like a son, so let me help my mother too. Sentence had made Ryan's heart feel too full. He didn't act like guest, he acted like family. Ryan, he is the first man I ever liked, the first person who made my heart beat like this, and he is leaving before anything even starts. He walked towards the door. Ryan's mother followed him behind with a tremble of sadness in her eyes. At the door, she stopped him gently. Ryan's mother, son, you saved our peace here without even knowing. Come back to visit us someday, okay? Pause for the first time. He looks uncertain about his own words. After a moment, he nodded slowly. See, I will try. His eyes wandered, searching. But Ryan wasn't there. She didn't even come to say goodbye. Of course, it's good. This is what I wanted, distance. Yet something in his heart just pressed painfully at the thought. Ryan stood behind the half-open door of her room. She watched him quietly, afraid that seeing her tears would make him uncomfortable or make her break completely. She held her dupatta close to her heart, gripping it tightly. And I will forget him. I must forget him. But she couldn't move. Her feet refused to take even a one step. Taehyung walked towards the edge of the village road, the gravel crunching within his boot. The morning breeze brushed against his uniform, still slightly sniffed from the healing woods. He held his bag tightly, mentally prepared himself to leave everything behind. His team vehicles waited ahead. Jungkook spotted him first. Jungkook, Young, you are alive, kick and kicking. Sit tone as he ran and jumped on things, arm looking tightly around his shoulder. Young stumbled from sudden hug, but his sniffed expression softened a little. Jimin immediately joined in, wrapping them both in another warm embrace. Don't scare us like that again, okay? We are going crazy, playful but emotional tone, squeezing them both tighter. One by one, the other gathers around him. Jin, you look better than expected. Seems like that family took care of you. Relieved tone across arm but smiling proudly. Hey ho, and guess what? We actually got holiday. Bright, cheerful, excited spark in his eyes. You can rest properly now, Taehyung. Sugar. The next mission is 2 months later. Clean, composed, and hand shoved in his pocket. For once, we'll get to breathe. What loud, warm, familiar thing should have felt relief, but something in him felt heavy more than ever before. He glanced around. Taehyung, where is Aramyang? Jungkook pointed behind them. Jungkook, he is coming. He had something serious to check.
Just then, RM approached, face framed and tense, and not welcome smile Taehyung expected. He stopped directly in front of Taehyung and held up newspaper. RM, Taehyung, did you know there is a psychopath in this village? The word hit him like a sudden drop in temperature.
Taehyung, no, I didn't know. RM unfolded the paper, top headline: Unknown killer targeting women living near the forest. Heart slammed painfully against his rib. Wine lived near the falls. Wine fetched water alone in the morning. Wine once told her mother she left West.
Taehyung's pulses spiked, his breath chained deeper, faster. Taehyung, Wine, she could be targeted, she could be afraid, she could be hurt right now. The other members leaned closer, taking in the same information. Jimin, those victims, they all are women in isolated houses. And the killer hasn't been caught yet. Taehyung didn't hear anything after that. He felt a terrifying coldness inside him because he realized the fear he never let himself name. He cared too much. His back fell from his grip, hit the ground. His voice came out low but burning with urgency. Taehyung, I'm going back. The member stared at him, stunned, confused, but the fire was already in his eyes. Taehyung, I'm done pretending. I cannot leave her behind, not her. His heartbeat was loud, not with fear, but with ruthless protectiveness. His feet were already moving back towards the house. He tried so hard to walk away from Ryan because he finally understood this wasn't just a village anymore. This wasn't just any woman. She was someone he was terrified to lose, and he would fight the whole world to make sure she stayed safe. The house felt unnaturally quiet without Taehyung's footstep, without his sturdy presence filling the atmosphere with silent protection. Ryan tried to focus on shipping a clay pot beside her mother in the backyard, but even the sunshine felt dull today. As the pot began to take shape, a chilling whistle echoed from a nearby tree. It wasn't friendly whistle. It sounded playful, but in the way that made the skin crawl. Ryan's mother finger froze instantly. The pot slipped from her hand and shuddered on the ground. Her eyes widened, not with confusion but pure fear that comes from intuition. Without saying a word, she grabbed Ryan's wrist and pulled her towards the house quietly. Something in her mother's silence terrified Ryan more than shouting ever could. Inside the living room felt darker than usual. Ryan's mother looked around cautiously, like she already knew the danger was here. A moment of silence passed, then a heavy metallic strike landed on the back of her head. The sound was sneaking. Her mother gasped, stumbling forward as blood struck down her neck. She turned slightly, still conscious but barely holding on. Ryan's mother, Ryan, run! Shivering, desperate tone as she tried to stand but collapsed on her knee. Ryan's heart stopped, her breath caught in her throat. Every part of her body turned cold as she slowly lifted her gaze. A man stood inside their home, dressed entirely in black gloves, hoodie, mask. Only his eyes were visible, and they were filled with twisted excitement, like he was admiring his work already. He raised the hammer slightly, allowing her to see the blood on its edge, her mother's blood. Ryan's hand began to tremble violently. Her leg felt too weak to support her. She could hear her heartbeat pounding inside her ears, loud and terrified. The psychopath tattled his head with a sick thrill as if he enjoyed how frozen she was. His voice came out low and chilling, pleased. Psychopath, don't freeze now. I chose you. Van's tear pricked instantly. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her mother tried to reach towards her again. Van, run! Broken whatever held Van still. Her leg reacted before her mind did. She turned and sprinted, the force of survival finally taking control. Her breath turned out of her chest as she burst through the back door into the forest. Behind her, the psychopath laughed, the kind of laughter that promised he would enjoy every second of the chase. Psychopath, yes, run for me. Adam sprinted side by side with the team. When a sudden dread hit him, he immediately ordered everyone to stop. Adam, secure the village right now. Huntington, already dialing his phone, to call back up. His voice held urgency enough to silence everyone's question. And backup unit will be here soon. Jungkook, you go with him. Jungkook nodded sharply. There was no time to waste. Young had already begun running faster than they had ever seen him move before. Every step slammed into the ground with panic drive force. Young, something is wrong. I should have never left. Please let her be safe. Suddenly he skipped to a stop, turning towards the thick forest on his left. His breathing was fierce and uneven. He looked at Jungkook, eyes darkening with urgency. Jungkook, take the road. Don't stop until you see the last house at the end of the village. Jungkook didn't hesitate. Jungkook got it, Young. Determined voice as he straight ahead. With that, Young changed direction and dashed into the forest. And just whipped at his uniform as he pushed forward aggressively, ignoring the ache in his injured arm. His heart was racing, not with fear for himself but for her. Young, hold on, Ryan. I'm coming. Nothing will touch you. Not while I'm alive. She pushed herself deeper into the forest. Every step uneven and desperation. Her legs were weakening. Her lungs breathing painfully. With each gasp, her foot scraped against a sharp rock, clear, now blood-soaked edge of her central. Branches tore at her arm, leaving stinging scratch behind. She didn't stop. She couldn't stop. Behind her psychopath footsteps grew louder, confident, unhurried. He was enjoying how frightened she was, starving the terror in the chase. His twisted laughter echoed against the tree, chilling the air. As Vine tried to jump over a fallen log, her ankle twisted and she stumbled. Her scream caught in her throat before she could regain balance. A hand yanked her hair from behind. She cried out in agony, falling into her as she pulled her head back harshly. His voice slithered above her like poison. Psychopath, finally I caught you! Vine screamed loud, raw, terrified. Her voice carried through the forest like a desperate cry for help. Psychopath raised the hammer, aiming for her head with a pure delight in his eyes, but then a sharp strike landed against his back of his skull. He groaned in shock, losing balance, crushing to the ground. Anne turned in disbelief. Honey stood there, trembling, panting, holding a thick wooden stick in both hands. Her voice was shaky but fierce. Honey, Vine, come on, we have to go now. Taehyung was staring through the trees like a storm, his breath heavy with both anger and fear. Suddenly, a scream echoed through the forest, a scream he recognized. Vine, Taehyung, please be alive, please hold on, I'm coming. His legs moved faster, fueled by something he had never let himself feel before. Dread of losing someone precious. Branches whipped against his face, but he didn't feel anything except the urgency pulsing in his veins. Then he saw movements through the trees. Two figures running fight Vine and Honey. The moment Vine's eyes caught sight of him, she stopped. Her chest heavy, violent tears, pure relief washed over her face. Before she could think, she ran straight into him and crashed into his chest. Her fingers gripped the fabric of his uniform tightly, like letting go would mean death. Taehyung immediately wrapped his arm around her, strong, protective, and instinctive. His hold was firm, as if shielding her from the world itself. Vine's whole body trembled as the fear finally broke into sobs. Vine, Taehyung, I come. He attacked Ma. Taehyung Java tightened his arm, wrapped even tighter around her. His voice was deep, low, and shaking with anger he barely controlled. Taehyung, I'm here. You are safe now. He looked over her head, eyes narrowing into a soldier glare. A predator was hunting her, but now the hunter had arrived, and Taehyung would kill before he allowed anyone to touch her again. Taehyung, I should have never left her. I will not make that mistake twice. Behind them, Honey tried to catch her with eyes still wide in fear. She kept looking over her shoulder, terrified that masked man would appear again. Gently titled Vine's face to check her injuries, his finger trembling slightly despite trying to remain composed. Seeing blood on her skin made something darker glisten inside him. She pulled away from him so fast that Taehyung barely had time to react. Vine, Ma! Panic scream, voice cracking with pure fear as she turned and ran towards the home. Without hesitation, Taehyung and Honey sprinted after her, branches snapping between their feet. Vine rushed inside first. The slight waiting there was something no child could ever see. Her mother lay on the cold floor, her eyes half closed, her breathing absent. Blood had soaked through their part of her hair, pooled between her head. Collapsed next to her with a broken cry, her trembling hands cupping her mother's cheeks. Vine, Ma, please get up, please. She shook her harder, desperate, taking over logic. Vine, Ma, open your eyes. It's me, Ma. Please don't leave me. She fell to her knees beside them, tears streaming down to her own face. She placed a hand over her mouth, shaking as she watched her best friend lose her world in seconds. Young Enter breathed still fast from running. He came down swiftly on the other side of Vine's mother, pushing aside his own panic. His finger immediately reached for her wrist. Vine looked up at him with trembling hope. Vine, Taehyung, please help her. Please help Ma. Taehyung didn't speak. He's focused, trying every method he knew, checking the pulse, searching for the faintest sign of life, but there was nothing. When he gently released her wrist, her hand fell lifeless back on the ground. His throat tightened painfully, his eyes lowered in silent grief. Taehyung, I failed to protect her. I came too late. Vine stared at his face, searching desperately for even the smallest hint. He found hope. But Taehyung's expression told her the truth, a truth she refused to accept. Vine, no, no! Screaming through tears, her voice raw as she shook her mother's harder. Ma, you are not gone. Ma, don't do this. I need you. Honey grabbed Vine's shoulder, trying to steady her, crying just as painfully. Honey, Vine, stop, please. Auntie, she's gone. I looked at Honey with shock, like she didn't understand the meaning of her words. Then she looked back to her mother. She lay her forehead on mother's chest. Taehyung stood quietly near the door, his chest tightened with helplessness. He clenched his fist, anger folding him at how unfair this was, at how a kind woman was taken so brutally. Taehyung's jaw tightened as he stood in the broken silence of the small house. He looked at the blood, a lifeless body, the trembling girl in his arm, and something inside him snapped. His anger was not loud, it was silent and deadly. I will hunt him down. I'll break every breath in his lungs. No one hurt her and her lives. He wanted to go after the kill right this second. The tear the forest apart. He had to. But right now, Vine needed him. She was still cleaning beside her mother, her head tightly as if the warmth would return. Villagers began to crowding near the door, whispering grew louder. Her mother is dead. They lied alone. What they could expect. Who was that man she kept here? Maybe he brought trouble. Gasped and cried softly. Other gossiped like it wasn't a tragedy, but a show. Honey stood protectively in front of Vine, glancing at anyone who dared to step closer. Vine's lips trembled uncontrollably. She kept shaking her mother's shoulder like she still believed she would open her eyes.
Her voice cracked painfully when she tried to speak her mother again. Fine, Ma, please speak up. The side tore Taehyung apart. And beside her, placing a steady hand on her shoulder. When she didn't react, he gently turned her towards him and forced her to look into his eyes. Taehyung, Vine, listen to me. Vine shook her head violently. Tears streamed down to her face as she tried to pull away from him. No, she's alive. Let me go, Ma. Ma, please. Taehyung didn't let her go this time. He wrapped both arms around her tightly, secure, unbreakable. Vine struggled in his hold, punching his chest, trying to reach her mother again, but Taehyung only held her closer. Vine, soft control voice, as if speaking one word was already painful. She's gone. Vine frozen in his embrace. Her strength left her body at once. No, Bear whispered, breath shaken as he buckled. No, no, no. Young tightened his grip even more as she cried into his uniform. Her fist clenched the fabric like it was the only thing keeping her alive. The moment she stopped fighting, the truth finally crushed over her. She sobbed helplessly. Her mother was gone. The person who killed her was still out there. Then hands slid gently to her back of her head, pulling her even closer. Then, I'm here. He protected tone as he held her like he shielding her from the world. You are not alone. He looked over her shoulder towards the forest where the murdered has escaped. Yeah, I will find him. I will make him regret every breath he stole from her family. His eye turned cold, the soldier in him awaked. This wasn't a mission anymore, it was personal. The burial ground was silent, only the sound of soil falling over Vine's mother's grave echoed. The final goodbye that Vine was too broken to express. Honey held her hand entire time. Vine's eyes remained distant and tears long turned into numbness. He stood a few steps behind, face glanced. His jaw was locked so tight it acted. Jungkook approached him quietly once the burial was complete. Jungkook, Young, what are we going to do now? Yeah, I'm going to find him, the man who did this. Jungkook nodded immediately. He knew. Thing wasn't talking about a mission anymore. This was revenge. They just gathered in groups. Gossip spread like poison in every direction. Who is that soldier staying with Vian? They lived alone. Something must have been going on. Such a shameless girl bringing a man home. Their whisper grew into loud accusation. Roy stood among them, his eyes filled with jealousy and rage. He hated that Vian looked at Tang with trust, and he hated that Tang had touched her even once. Roy, so that is it. She likes him, bitter furious muttered while staring towards Vian's house. Blinded by obsession, he merged towards the crowd again. Roy, she is a characterless. She brought a man into her home without marriage. Angry memory rose immediately. Threw her out. She shamed the village. We wouldn't allow such behavior. Roy lifted his hand dramatically to silence them. Roy, no, we wouldn't throw her out. They're just still listening. Roy, we will force her to marry me. That will fix her honor. Twisted logic, eyes gleaming with victory already. The crowd nodded, supporting his idea without hesitation. Roy smirked. He already saw himself winning Vanna as if she were a prize. Peaceful silence inside the small house was suddenly shattered by the furious shouting outside. Stones kicked against the ground, footsteps stormed together in angry rhythm. Villagers gathered like a mob, particularly blocking the entrance. Teachers, come out, show your face, come out, girl. Loud, furious shout, ignoring hatred and judgment. Honey's eyes widened in fear. Jungkook and Taehyung exchanged confused look. Taehyung stepped closer to the window, watching the crowd boiling with anger. Taehyung, why they are here? Jungkook moved beside him. And why they are shouting like that? Frustrated and confused, face clenched. Honey swallowed hard, voice shaking. Honey, because you are here. Taehyung turned his head towards her sharply. What do you mean by that? Honey looked down at her trembling hands. Honey, this village is cruel. You are staying here without any relation with Vayan, and they think it's a shame. Jungkook took a step forward, anger raising in him. Jungkook, relationship? What relationship? Why do they care? We are just helping someone who needed us. Loud, frustrated tone, ready to argue with the entire world. Honey shook her head helplessly. Honey, Vian's father is gone. Now her mother too. With softened with grief. Villagers think they can take over her life. They wouldn't let her live peacefully because she has no one left to protect her. She lifted her head, tear gathering. Honey, Taehyung, please save my friend. Marry her, please. It's the only way she can be safe. Taehyung's eyes widened. He didn't expect that. Jungkook stared at Honey in complete shock. In the corner, Vian stood there like she had been struck by lightning, her eyes full of disbelief and panic. She quickly shook her head, stepping forward. Why, no, Taehyung, you don't have to do anything like that. I can face my own problems. Before anyone could respond, a violent knock slammed the door again harder. Roy, Vian, come out right now! Vian didn't flinch. Her jaw tightened as she marched towards the door. She pulled it open and the sight hit her. The sea of villagers, all glaring at her like she was a criminal. Two villager women were still gripping Vian's arm, her skin already red from how tightly they held her. She was trying to free herself, her voice lost under the crowd shouting. Step forward, expression craved into dark steel. His presence alone made the air tighten.
He stood directly in front of Ryan, blocking the woman from with his body. Taehyung's voice was low and dangerous. Taehyung, let her go. The woman instinctively released Ryan's hand, trembling. They stepped back, their bravado fading in front of the soldier's murderous gaze. Roy shot through the crowd, fury blazing in his eyes. He pointed at a shaky finger right at Taehyung's chest. Titled his head slightly, eyes turning darker. Taehyung, or else what? Roy's pride wouldn't allow him to back off. He swung a punch directly at Taehyung. But Taehyung barely moved. He dodged effortlessly and with a one shift motion, Taehyung garbs Roy's shirt, slammed him into the dirt ground. The crowd gasped a few steps back in pure fear. Roy groaned in shock, clenching his back. Villagers, we will not let this girl stay with the stranger man. If she want to stay in our village, she must marry Roy. This is the only way to fix her honor. Taehyung face tightened as he looked at the terrifying girl behind him. His voice dropped lower, filled with ice anger that silenced the air. You think you can control her life, decide her marriage? She's a human being, not your property. So stop pretending you have the right to choose her fate. But villagers refused to listen. They shouted louder, demanding marriage. Immediately, Taehyung looked at her face pale, tears streaming, pain, fear drawing her breath. In the moment he made decision, he never imagined he would fall into his life like this. Taehyung, if marriage is what you want, then you will get it. Ryan's eyes widened with shock. Before she could argue, Taehyung gently yet firmly took her wrist and lead her towards the temple. Her leg trembled as she walked, but Taehyung did not give anyone a chance to separate them. At the temple, the priest hesitantly, frightened by the tension in the air. Taehyung's voice left no room for refusal. Taehyung, start the wedding ritual, don't delay. Ryan tried to pull her hand away, her voice breaking as she looked up at him. Ryan, Kenji, please stop this. I don't want to make you a sacrifice for me. I can handle my own life, so don't tie yourself to my pain. Think didn't let her pull away. His grip stayed strong, but his voice softened just enough only her to hear. If I let you go now, you will be destroyed by them. I wouldn't let them happen, not while I can still stand beside you. The priest handed Taehyung the sindoor. Taehyung took a deep breath and gently filled the button man's hairline with the red color that symbolized marriage. Her entire body shook silently as villagers gasped in disbelief. The priest gave him the Mangalsutra, stepped behind Ryan, tied it carefully around her neck. She closed her eyes and crying quietly as the necklace rushed against her chest, making her officially as his wife. Watch with tears and freely and whisper a quiet prayer for her friend's safety. Jungkook let out a long breath. He didn't realize he was holding his eyes full of respect for Taehyung. Night engulfed the small house, but Ryan's room remained dim lit by a lantern. She sat on the corner of the bed, fingers trembling as they twisted her dupatta over and over. Her world has changed in a single terrifying day. Her heart don't know where to start. Love, fear, guilt get mixed into a painful confusion. She picked up her mother's photograph, pressing it tightly against her chest. The loneliness hit her like a wave. Tears streamed down to her face, unstoppable. Why now? I need you today more than any other day. Her shoulders shook as silent cries escaped her. The door opened quietly. Taehyung stepped inside. He had given her hours of space, but he knew she was drawing in thought she couldn't face alone. He placed a plate of food on a small table gently, then sat down beside her, keeping just enough distance not to overwhelm her, yet closeness enough to show he was there. Face was red, eyes swollen, nose pink from crying, and yet he couldn't help but think she was beautiful. He spoke softly, not forcing anything. Van, please eat something. We haven't eaten since morning, and your body is already tired. You need strength to face tomorrow. Ryan slowly turned towards him, tears still clinging to her lashes. Ryan, Taehyung, why did you marry me? You don't love me, yet you married me. Was it just petty? Did you feel forced to save me from others? Her voice cracked as her insecurity spilled out. Before she could finish, Taehyung reached out, gently pulling her closer, eliminating the space between them. His eyes locked into her deep and who told you I married you out of pity? I married you because I want to, because when I saw you in danger, something inside me told me I couldn't never let it go. Never think I petted you. I choose you. Heartbeat raced wildly, their faces were in the part, the air around them charged, changes into made and new. While Lord her place shyly, unable to hold the intensity in his voice. Meanwhile, right outside the door, Jungkook leaned against the wall, trying to listen in with a mischievous smug. He pressed his ear closer to the wood until someone yanked his jacket from behind. Cook stumbled backward, eyes winding in surprise as he turned to face Honey, who was glancing at him like she could breathe in him fire. Honey, don't you feel even a little shame standing here with your ear glued to their room? Jungkook's mouth dropped open, he waved his hand defensively. Jungkook, what do you mean shame? She's your friend, but now she's also our young wife, so... Honey narrowed her eyes even more. Honey, so that gave you the right to eavesdrop on their private moments. Should I also listen whenever you flirt or cry alone? Cook instantly coughed nervously. He rubbed his neck. No, I wasn't eavesdropping. I was just waiting for you. There is something important we need to discuss.
Honey glass didn't soften, but she gave his arm, pulled him far from the door anyway. The moon hung quietly above the sky, washing the house in silver light. The chase of the day had faded, leaving behind only the sound of distant crickets and sound hum of night winds. Honey stood outside the front door, arm crossed. Honey, you'll sleep here. Don't even think of sneaking inside. If the psychopath come back, you are the first one he'll see, so be useful for once. Jungkook automatically clenched his small pillow like a child. Jungkook, you are serious making me sleep outside? At least give me something to cover my legs. I'm a soldier, not a guard dog. Honey turned to leave but stopped for a moment, glancing at him over her shoulder. If you hear even one strange noise, make up things immediately. Don't act brave. Jungkook, yeah, I got it. Lazily murmured, wrapping himself in a blanket, but still secretly smiling at her worry. Honey shook her head, went inside. Despite her annoyed, she felt safer knowing someone was awake outside. The soft sunlight crept into the room through the thin curtain. Vine stood in his arms, blinking softly before realizing where she was. Her cheek turned pink when she saw Taehyung already awake, watching her quieter. She quickly sat up, brushing her hair nervously. Vine, I'm sorry, I must have fallen asleep like that. Taehyung shook his head slightly, voice calm and warm. You don't have to apologize. You needed rest. Yesterday was too much for anyone to handle. Before Vine could respond, Taehyung phone buzz. He picked up immediately, recognizing the coded signal from RM. Taehyung, RM report. Her voice come through with a deep breath of relief. I think it's over. The police caught the psychopath earlier this morning near the North Highway. He tried to escape, but they got him alive. You can finally relax. A brief moment, Taehyung closed his eyes, shoulder losing a wave of tension. He didn't realize he was scared. Finally faded. Taehyung, good. Keep him locked until we arrive. Taehyung, they caught him. Ryan, you're safe now. And blinked, her heart skipped for a second. She wanted to feel relieved to breathe freely again, but something inside her twisted instant. Ryan, I should feel happy, but I don't know. He caught, but it doesn't bring her back. Taehyung's expression softened immediately. He reached forward, resting a comforting hand over her. I know, just it doesn't erase pain, but you are not alone anymore, Ryan. From now on, you'll face every storm for you. Inside the quiet house, Ryan arranged the cushion on the couch as Dr. Joy stepped inside with usual warm green. Honey's voice drifted from kitchen, busy preparing tea. Joy, I heard what happened about your mother. I'm truly sorry for your loss. Ryan's shoulder dropped, eyes dimming. She forwarded a polite note and murmuring thanks. The mention of her mother still felt like blade twisting inside her. Dear Joy leaned forward slightly. People say it was the psychopath, right? The one who been hurting you this region. They say he chased you too. Did you see his face that night? Ryan froze for a heartbeat, the moment flashing in her mind like a lightning in dark. No, I didn't see anything clearly. It was dark. I just ran. Dear Joy, these incidents are increasing. Someone need to take strong step. By the way, this Mr. Kim I heard of, the soldier, he is really your husband now. Hesitate, the question catching her off guard. She glanced down before answering. Ryan, yes, he is. The smile faded for a brief second. His face changed, admiration melting into jealousy. Joy, I see. Why does everything good happen to someone else? Joy, anyway, take care of yourself, and we don't want the psychopath to find a beautiful girl again, especially one who knows how a hamburger feels. Terrible, isn't it? Honey carrying the tea tray stopped dead at the kitchen door. Her eyes widened, the word echoed wrong in her ears. She walked forwardly, slowly letting the tray down with shaky hands. Wait, how did you know her mother was hit by hammer? Yeah, Joe, I hate smart girls. Everything exploded in the second. He launched forward, swinging the metal object hidden under his coat. Honey instinctively showed one backward, yelling for her to run. The hammer grazed her head. She collapsed with a cry, prism spreading through her hair. Ryan screamed, stumbling towards her friend. Honey, please! I wanted so long for you, little bird. Innocent girl who cry always sound the sweetest. Back away until her spine hit the wall. She turned to run, but he caught her wrist, the hammer lifting again, and then the door burst open. Taehyung, enough! His hand caught the hammer, which swing, stopping an inch away from Ryan's face. Jungkook charged in behind him, tackling Dear Joy to the floor. The man fought with wild strength, snarling, but he is no match for the two trained soldiers. The sound struggling filled the room. I breathed the thunder of fist as Taehyung and Jungkook pinned him down, disalarming him before he could move again. Taehyung twisted his waist until the hammer clattered to the floor, then retained him with the cord off from his belt. You picked the wrong girl to hunt. Jungkook stood over the restrained man's chest, having, the police will take you now, doctor. Let's see you smile there. Joy spat out a laugh that turned into a cough. His eyes darted towards Ryan one last time in a silent promise of hatred before Taehyung shoved him towards. Small hospital room smelled faintly of medicine, floor clean. Honey sat up in a bed, bandaged up around neatly around her head. Despite everything, she was munching on her lunch like a sooth-born warrior who refused to look weak. Stood by her side, arm crossed, frustrated written all over his face. Why would you jump in front of like that? You could have been seriously hurt. You scared everyone, especially Ryan. Honey, oh please, if you were in my place and Taehyung was in Ryan's place, what would you have do? Frozen. He blinked twice. He looked around as he was searching for an answer from the air. Then he stretched his head and spoke dead serious. Jungkook. Honestly, I would probably faint first, then wake up and scream for backup. Sitting in a chair nearby couldn't help it. A soft giggle escaped her lips. After days of fear, grief, that tiny laugh felt like light sunlight through the storm cloud. Honey smiled proudly, sticking her tongue out at Jungkook. You see, I'm braver than a trained soldier. Jungkook's jaw dropped, completely defeated. Jungkook, hey, I didn't say that. I just. One smile warmed at bickering, her heavy heart finally getting a moment to breathe. Sitting in the living room, hands tightly gripped the edge of her dupatta, her knees bounced unconsciously as she stared towards the door. Her eyes were tight yet widened with worry. She had been waiting for him. Things stepped inside. She stood up quickly. The sight of him safe, standing right in front, shattered the fear she had been holding in. Without a second thought, she rushed forward, wrapped her arm around him tightly, her heartbeat pressed against his chest, her face buried in him, breathing his presence like air she desperately needed. I was so scared. What took you so long? Please don't spill like that again. Frozen for a heartbeat, the sudden warmth of her body sending his system into overdrive. His heart thumped loud against her ear. He hesitated, but then wrapped his arm around her, holding her equally tight, soft, protective, unspoken promise hidden in his grip. Yeah, I'm here now, and I wouldn't let anything happen to you ever again. Byron realized what she was doing. She pulled back slightly, her cheeks burning, her eyes stayed locked his. What happened there? Did he say anything? Taehyung, it's over. He would never come near you again. Vine sat on the edge of Taehyung's bedroom. He twisted her dupatta with growing nervousness. Honey wasn't home. Jungkook was away, and fear still lingering in her chest like an unwanted shadow. The bathroom door was closed. Steam sweeping through the corner as Taehyung showered inside. She glanced at the door again. Heart was lost in worry that she didn't notice the bathroom door opening. Taehyung walked out, t-shirtless, hair wet, stole hanging loosely from his hand as dropped it slide down his shoulder. Vine froze. Taehyung, Vine, what happened? Stepped back quickly, heart hammering as she looked anywhere except his bare chest. Fine. No, nothing. I was just me. I mean, I was just waiting. Young took another step towards her, water still dripping from his hair. His presence filled the room effortlessly, clean strong. Young, you are shaking. Don't lie to me. Tell me what's wrong. Vine swallowed hard. She tried to speak, but her voice came in pieces. And Taehyung, I'm scared to sleep alone tonight. Honey isn't home, and everything that happened, Taehyung's expression softened for a fraction of a second. Taehyung, you could have just asked why you were thinking so much. And blushed harder and stepped back again, but her heel hit the bed. She stumbled when she reached out instantly, grabbing Taehyung's arm, but Taehyung's foot slid on the wet floor from the shower water. They both fell, landing on the bed with Taehyung hovering above her, one hand raised near her head to keep her from crushing her. Breath collided, their heartbeat so loud the room felt too small to contain the sound. Taehyung's hair over forehead, droplets of water falling onto Vine's cheeks. She shivered at the cold touch. Her eyes widening even more, stared down at her really stared, like the world has narrowed to just her face. Taehyung, Vine, Taehyung, you are very close. Taehyung glazed lower to her lips for a brief second. Vine felt her entire body heat up. Taehyung, I know. The tension thickened around them. He lifted one hand, gently tied her head behind her ear, fingers glazing her warm skin. Didn't turn his face, nor he pulled back his hand. He cupped Vine's cheeks, softly leaning down close to her lips to taste them. But ding dong! The doorbell pulled them away, making them back incensed. Then immediately got up, taking his shirt toward it, whoever disturbed them. Stay here, don't come outside till I tell you to. Vine nodded while covering herself with a thick blanket, too shy to face Taehyung, nodding without looking. Her heartbeat was still racing from earlier intensity. Opening the door, he saw his whole team waiting outside, looking at him teasingly. Most of the members except Karim, who was looking at him, Taehyung with serious stiff posture. Karim, Taehyung, I know it's night, but I'm here to inform you that tomorrow we are leaving for city and you have to come along. We've spread our work is waiting, their mission and family. Taehyung nodded with heart and expression. Members walk away wishing good night. Taehyung walked in the room thinking about leaving. Taehyung, Vine, we have to leave for the city. My work is there and my family too. Vine, city. Thinking about leaving this house made her feel sad, this household memory of her mother. But now she also have new family. Young know that it's not easy for Ryan to leave this place. He understands that she may feel uncomfortable moving to new place, but he wants to start a new journey of life with him. Young, when we will come here every year, I'll come with you. This place will be always yours. One blink, a small smile found her lips. She nodded without saying anything. She stepped close to Taeyang, wrapping her arms around him, hugging him tightly. She spoke in soft tone. Taeyangji, thank you so much, and I want to meet my new family. Fine, but will they like me? What your mother will think about me? What if she think I trapped you or I snatched you? What? Taeyang, Van, my mother and my family is not like that. They always wanted me to get married. And really? Then let's go. I'm all ready. Taeyang looked at Van's disappearing figure with raised eyebrow. He didn't understand her mood change in minutes. Taeyang, I think I need more time to understand this woman.